All right. What's up, guys? The Take Action Morning Show, the Take Action Morning Crew. How is everyone? I want to hear from you guys. So, got some things I'm going to be sharing today because, there's some cool things happening. And a lot of you have been waiting for this discussion because I've been talking a little bit about it. And it has to do with traffic on our website. This isn't just on one website. It's on actually two that we've been testing this over the past 2.5 months. Now, this has also been something that my other partner has been doing and been doing it for years, but I've never really been a believer of this traffic all that much because, well, Pinterest is what we're talking about here. Pinterest has always been to me a little bit of a mystery. It's also where I was always thinking like it's DIY or it's, maybe, just cooking, or maybe it is just, I don't know, crafting or any of that stuff. So I kind of discarded it a little bit, to be honest with you. But I have always known that there is a lot of potential there. I just didn't know if it was potential for our market or our markets. But I am very happy and excited to announce here that I am a believer now. I've been turned into a believer. And one of the main reasons I've become a believer is because whenever I do this stuff, whenever I do these tests, I always say to whoever I'm working with, like in this case, it's my secret weapon, as I've said in the workshop that we're going to be doing. And that secret weapon is my daughter, my oldest daughter. She kind of convinced me to give it a try. And she goes, let me just try what I've been doing. And let's just see if it works in these two. And I'm like, okay, let's give it a shot. So I kind of gave her the reins. I said, here you go. Here's our accounts. Go to it and let me know. Report back to me. So I'm checking in. I'm looking at the numbers, and the first, week and a half, 2 weeks, there's like barely anything. It's crickets, maybe 10 visitors to the website, maybe 5, 7, somewhere in there. And then another week goes by and I looked in there and I'm just, kind of looking around, and I noticed, oh, wow, there's like, 30, 40 people that have came to the site today. So it's basically every day it's starting to increase a little bit. And I'm like, wow, if we can get this to 100 visitors a day, that'd be amazing. I mean, imagine having 100 people coming to your website, just 100 people. It's still 100 people, unique people coming to your website every day. And I'm like, okay, well, let's take a look at this. So we were at about 30 and we kind of stayed there for maybe a week, week and a half. Then it jumped maybe to 50 or 60. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. We're almost at 100. And then it might have dipped back down again to maybe 40 a day, but it never got below 40. And then all of a sudden we had a day where it hit 100. And I'm like, yes, we did it. And I don't even know what we did. And so I just kind of let it go. And I kind of was sending my daughter screenshots back and forth. Now, this wasn't just in the one brand. This was in 2 brands. Okay. And they're not in the crafting market. All right. And they're not in the DIY market. So I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, you know what? I think we're onto something here because they're both reacting very similar. And so long story short, one brand, we are averaging 150 to 200 unique visits to our website in about a month, or I'm sorry, maybe about a month and a half is when we had that surge. And the other one took a little bit longer, about 2 months. And that one there is over 100 per day consistently. But the one, we actually had a pin actually go a little bit crazy. We were getting 475 unique visitors to our website every single day for about a week and a half. Then it kind of came back down, and that happens. And now we're averaging between 150 and 200 across both brands. So you're going to have these pins or these boards that start to take off, and then you'll have some that maybe take a little bit longer. So the reason why I love this strategy now is because it's something that we can replicate. And it's something that we're not joining groups. We're not joining tribes necessarily. We're kind of playing right now with the ecosystem. Now, that doesn't mean that we won't play with tribes, and tribes is just something that they have in the Pinterest land. That's more like phase 2. But the very beginning, all we're doing is we're just laying the groundwork, and then we're just publishing and we're amplifying our content that we're creating on a regular basis. So that's basically it in a nutshell. Now, before we get into more of the details, I'm going to go ahead and see who's joining me this morning. And on Instagram, if you guys are joining me on Instagram, we're over here on Facebook and YouTube. If you want to join us over there, takeactioncrew.com, or you can just stay put. I'm just going to set you up over there on my phone, but I'm going to be looking over here quite a bit. So let me see who's joining us today. We've got Justin in the house, of course, from Australia. What's up, my friend? James is in the house. How's it going? Mel is in the house. Happy Monday to you as well, Mel. Salama is in the house. Let's see. Oh, cool. James says, did my weekly planning this morning. Awesome. Yesterday, which was a Sunday, we went over how to really reset and create an amazing week. And part of that is planning out your week before the week starts. James did it. Good job. Karen says, good morning. Ready to go. Awesome. Justin, I heard Pinterest works well on visual niches. Yes and no. To be honest with you, I'm going to be playing with Pinterest now that I'm a believer. I've been converted. I'm going to be playing in this whole podcasting realm. We're going to give that a try. So I don't necessarily think it has to be visual, although visual does help, but I think you can always add a visual element to it, right? So, I mean, Justin, if you gave me an example, I could kind of elaborate on that a little bit if you want. Kate, starting my day with our coffee crew. Good morning, Kate. What's up? Yeah, we are sitting here with our coffee this morning. And of course, it is the bulletproof. So let me take a sip of this and then we're gonna dig in here. We got Kate in the house. All right, who else we got in the house here? Oh, Kate says, like the shirt. Yeah, that's from my buddy Pat Flynn. Serve first. And I love that. And if you guys remember, I shared the book, The Carpenter, with John Gordon. That's going to be airing actually in about a week and a half. But he talks about the wooden heart, and it's love. What is it? Love, serve, and care. Right? Love, serve, and care. And those are the three things. And yeah, I like it as a reminder just for myself, right? So yeah, thank you. Ashley's in the house. What's up? Good morning. Iva in the house, one of our BCA tribe members. What's happening? Deborah, good morning. Nicholas, happy Monday to you. Is there any industry Pinterest will not work? I don't know. I'd have to have an example of that. I think it can work in almost any industry. Chris, what's up, Chris? Good morning. On the treadmill watching. Awesome. How many steps are we getting in this morning, Chris? Okay, cool. So Justin says, example, decor, recipes, gardening, craft, etc. Yeah, those all work. Think about this though. My new friend, Matt, from Swim University, he's got a pretty good Pinterest account. I mean, he's getting over for his whole site is like 7 million visitors a year, not just from Pinterest. He's getting a lot on Pinterest too, but he posts there on Pinterest, swimming pool care. So not just decor, not just recipes, not just gardening, not just crafts, how to take care of your pool. Okay. People save these things to their boards as a way for them to remember. It's like a bookmarking site in a sense. So imagine having all these multiple pins in your room and you're like, oh, you know what? When I want to do my pool care, I'm going to put it over here. Oh, and I'm going to do, I don't know, let's see, guitar playing. I'm going to put that over there. Cause those are like my top lessons that I want to go back to, like how to do a certain scale. All of that's over there. Right. So it's a way to organize the things that you're interested in. That's the cool thing about it. Tristan, ran and got my coffee real quick so I can learn from my mentor. You changed my life through the past 6 years, always learning from you. Tristan, thank you so much. That means a lot to even just have you call me your mentor. So I appreciate that. And 6 years is a long time. We've been together a long time, huh? So, and we've grown and we've learned. So thank you for sharing that, Tristan. Glad to have you back too. Nigel, that's the same t-shirt you wore in the introduction to the Pinterest training on BCA. Just started going through the training this morning. Yeah. And Nigel, I'm glad you brought that up. The training that we're going to be going through June 1st, it's going to be actually updated from the Pinterest training that we did inside of BCA. All of that training is adding into our Brand Creators Academy members. And also we're doing 2 live additional calls. Plus inside of the Academy, as you know, once this workshop's over, we're always in there doing more live Q&As, and we'll be doing more training outside of just what we're doing in the workshop. So when you are a Brand Creators Academy member, and I'm not pitching it right now because it's not even open. It's not going to be open until July. But just to let you know, that information that's in there is awesome. And actually my daughter is going through and making some updates and changes, and she's adding some components. And the cool thing about this is I look at this as a hybrid of what we're doing as far as training goes. It's kind of like Brand Creators Academy, because what we're doing is we're teaching what we're learning, and then we're also fielding questions and then either answering the questions or we're adding components to the video training. So I'm glad you brought that up though, Nigel. So guys, if you are watching this and you wanted to go through this pop-up workshop, we're calling it a pop-up workshop around Pinterest, go to brandcreators.com/workshop. Number one, you'll see my secret weapon there, my daughter. There's a picture of her and I there, and you'll see exactly what we're planning on doing here and how it's going to work. I'll explain a little bit more later on that if you guys are interested, but brandcreators.com/workshop. That is a workshop that is focused primarily only on this Pinterest strategy. And the idea is to go through it in 2 weeks, part recorded, part live. And then from there, what we're going to do is help everyone that's joining the workshop to understand the strategy, but then implement the strategy. And by the end of our time together, you will have everything set up. You'll be creating your own pins, and you will have a routine that'll take you less than a few hours a week to lay this all out and really start to benefit from creating new assets in your business that drive back to your website. So that's what we're doing there. All right, cool. So let's see. And Justin says, so the boards are like bookmarks, kind of. Yes. The cool thing about it is the board is also searchable on Google. Have you ever done a Google search and found a Pinterest board? I have. So Google is indexing those. Pinterest is a high authoritative domain, meaning there's a lot of authority that Google is giving it. Meaning if you create a board, okay, and that board is set up properly, which we talk about that inside of this training, but I'll tell you guys more about that right now too. I'm going to give you guys all of the steps that it takes to kind of go through this strategy now that I've unpacked it. So yes, are men and women both on equally on Pinterest or more women? You know what? I don't know that anymore. I think, you know, there's boards on fishing. There's boards on man caves. There's boards on homebrew. There's boards on all kinds of things. So yes, there may be a majority, maybe, I don't know. I'd have to look, but I don't think it's something to discard unless it's like totally obscure. Let's see. Is BCA monthly membership? Yes. Brand Creators Academy is a monthly membership. You can do a yearly or you can do monthly. And it's not open right now. We only open about 4 times a year. The next time we open will be the first week in July. We haven't set the exact date yet, but it will be the first week in July. And then we'll be opening again for another 5 days. And then we close the enrollment and then we just focus on our members. What's up, Mike Smiley? Scoot. What's up, my friend? All right, guys, do me a quick favor too, before we do jump in here, because I want to share this with you. Do me a favor. If you are tuning in for the first time, welcome. Thank you. And I'd like to know, how did you hear of our coffee talk? All right. And then if you are a Take Action Morning Crew member, hey, do me a favor. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you share this with someone. You know, let people know about our coffee talks. I'm not advertising this at all. It's all word of mouth. So I want other people to find this group that are like-minded, like us. All right. So if you know someone that would get value from this, let them know. However you can. Share it, like it, any of that good stuff, or just email them. Or maybe send them a text. Who knows? All right. So let me dig in. I'm going to look at my notes here real quick because I wrote some things. I wanted to be organized for you guys. I did a podcast episode today too, by the way, which goes through this entire strategy. And the blog post is really good. We actually got a new show notes person, it's not even show notes. It's really someone that takes my episode and writes a full blog post on it, very, very detailed. So if you're interested in that, you can go to brandcreators.com/833. Yeah, I got it right here. 833. So brandcreators.com/833. And the title of it is how we added 4,343 website visitors using free Pinterest traffic. And I go through everything right there. I'm going to summarize everything here today on this coffee talk. All right. So let me just get back here. And if you guys have any questions while I'm going through this, let me know. We will answer them. And then we will wrap up here. I'm going to go for about probably till about 10:30 today. All right. So, all right. Let me pull up my notes. Okay. So understand this. And I've said, if you're just tuning in, I went over this a little bit, but I want to really make sure that I'm clear on this. Your boards in Pinterest, or actually, let me back up. Pinterest itself is a search engine. Okay. It's a search engine. People go there to find ideas, right? If you're planning a special party, you're going to probably go there and search for ideas, or you're going to search Google, and then you're going to find a Pinterest board. It's just how it works. Okay. And then the other thing to understand is that these boards are independent. So you want to create these boards that are specific to your industry, but also that are very, very targeted. It's kind of like you're going after a long tail keyword for your website. So if it's best bass fishing lures 2020, that would be a title of one of your boards. And then you're going to put not just your stuff, other people's things there. Then what happens is over time, it starts to get a little bit of traction. Those can be found on Google. Okay. So the cool thing is you're building an asset inside of Pinterest that will lead back to your website, but you also can create assets on your website that will lead people back to Pinterest and add it to their board, which then can be discovered in Pinterest, outside of Pinterest, and all of the things that come from that. So boards are found in Google. Links inside of your account or on your boards, or your pins, as they call them, are also linked to your website, or at least they should be. Okay. And then pins are found inside of Pinterest. So if someone's searching, they can find that pin. People pin from your website to their boards. Okay. That can then be discovered. So they might have their own board that gets discovered. If you're on there because you have a pin, then you're going to show up on their board. They're getting traffic, you're there. And then from there, people save your pins on Pinterest themselves. So if they're in there, they may save it as well. And you can see this in the metrics behind the scenes, which we've had over, gosh, I should pull that up so I can give you the accurate number. But I mean, I don't go by impressions, because impressions are like massive. Like we're getting over like 300 some thousand impressions per 28 days. That's how they go. They go off of the 28-day run. And the clicks are over 6,800. Now, clicks could mean that someone saved it, someone pinned it. But the more important number that I like to look at is in the Google Analytics of our website is how many unique visitors came from Pinterest. And in this case, the last 30 days has been 4,343, which is pretty awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go through these 8 points here of kind of like what the strategy looks like. Let me say what the strategy, before I even started going down this road, what I was doing with Pinterest, which is totally wrong. Okay. I mean, it's not wrong, but it's not beneficial. So I was like, okay, we're going to create a piece of content on our website, how to catch more bass in a pond. And then I'm going to create a pin, and I'm going to make it so it's at least the same dimensions that Pinterest wants. Okay. And I'm going to add it to the footer of my blog post. And then from there, I'm going to allow that to be a pinnable image by putting a plugin on my website that allows it to be a pin that can be pinned onto a lot of pins there that are pinnable. And then I'm going to go and inside of my Pinterest account that I created, I'm just going to create a couple of boards with my stuff. And I'm just going to then put it on there, and I'm going to make sure it points back to my website. That was my strategy. Not that great of a strategy. And the pins weren't that pretty. Just kind of whipping stuff up. Okay. But I did something, and the traffic was not much. Right. So then when my daughter came to me and she's like, listen, I'm not sure if you're interested, but you could do a lot better with what you're doing. And I go, well, you got to prove to me that this is even worth the time. I'll tell you what, I'll give you 30 days. Do this thing your way, and then tell me that you can repeat it, and we can prove that the results are actually consistent. That's the only way I operate. I'm not going to share it with anybody unless it's working for me first. Now, that doesn't guarantee it's going to work for you, but at least I know that I've tested it not just once, but twice, and we've kind of figured this thing out. So that's kind of what we're doing here. So let me just kind of run through this, and then we'll field some questions. So number one, you need to validate that your market's there. So my suggestion would be to go to Pinterest and just do a search. Search for how to clean my pool. See if you get stuff about swimming pool care. Find an account that's already doing it. Start to look at their numbers. Okay. So that's number one. Number two, once you do figure that part out, then what you want to do is create a Pinterest business account. Very important that it's a business account, not a personal account. The other thing is, if you have multiple brands, you do not want to have one account that you have just a board set up for that business. You want it to be separate. Because if not, then you can't really sell off that part of the business. You can't like give those keys away because it's also got keys to everything else that you house underneath that account. So you want that to be specific to your brand. Okay. The next part of this was create 5 to 10 boards from day one and find the best keywords, the long tail keywords that are best for those boards. Right. And you can do this by, again, doing the same thing that we do in the Google search stuff or the auto suggest or Amazon or wherever, YouTube. We're going to go into Pinterest. We're going to put in how to catch more bass and let it fill in. Right. Or best fishing lures to catch bass and let it fill in. Right. So you might just put something broad, bass fishing, and see what comes up. Those are going to be suggestions that you may want to create a board around if it's relevant to your business and your brand. So that's what we've done. But the thing here is, in the very first part here, we're not creating these boards and then pinning our stuff. What we're doing is we're starting to take other people's stuff and bringing them into our boards to show what our account is about, right? We need to let Pinterest know what we're about. We need to let other people know what we're about. And you might be saying, but Scott, why would I take someone else's content and put it on my board that could lead them to their website? Because we're not just creating resources for ourselves, we're creating them for people that are interested in our market. So if they come over to our account, they may say, hey, you know what? I'm going to see what else they have here. They got some pretty good stuff. They're good at collecting good information, right? I'm shortcutting the process for them. So people, they always think I'm just going, and I thought this too, I'm just going to take my pin and pin it, and that's it. No, you want to share other people's things on your boards because you want it to be a very, very good resource. So I want you to imagine, pretend like you're not even thinking about getting your own traffic. You're going to spend an hour to create an amazing resource on Pinterest, on a board in your account that finds all of the best pins and information about your niche, right? You're just going to spend an hour creating a really, really good resource, right? And you're going to want to do this over time. So it's like every day when you're first starting, it might be like, okay, I'm going to create 5 boards to start, let's say, or maybe 10. And then you're going to say, every day I'm going to go in, I'm going to pin 2 or 3 things to each board that I think are valuable for that topic. So each board is its own topic. That's really how you have to look at that. And then the cool thing is over time, some of your stuff is going to get put on those boards too. So now if someone comes from a Google search that finds you, or inside, it doesn't matter, in or out, then you're going to be on that board as well. But there is going to come a time that you're going to be creating your own boards that only has your stuff, okay? So number 3 is create 5 to 10 boards using keywords. Example would be best fishing lures 2020. And then 4 would be pin other people's pins to those boards. And then 5, create a best of board of your brand. Best of, okay? And then we can do other separate ones. But right now it's like other people's stuff inside of these miscellaneous keyword loaded boards. And you're going to sprinkle in yours there too, but you're also going to have one that's dedicated to just your stuff, okay? And then number 6, create pins about your blog post. So when you're creating a blog post or a piece of content or a YouTube video, you're going to create a pin that is going to really summarize or give people exactly what it is that they will get from that piece of content, right? So someone had said, well, isn't it visual? I think Justin said that. Isn't it all visual? Yeah, it's a lot visual, but if you can kind of give people the idea of what they're going to learn from that. So if it's how to play the intro to Back in Black by AC/DC, you can have that be on there with maybe a picture of someone playing, and then it says what it is. Someone's going to click on that. They're going to then be led to their website to get the lesson, right? But they're going to also possibly pin that to a board that says hard rock music, or, you know what I mean? Like something like hard rock music playing, or chords, or whatever that board is titled, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's only there to see exactly what they're what they're getting, or that piece is only to give them information from what they can see. It's what they can see, but then what that will lead them to actually complete the list. It's kind of like gardening. You might look at that and see like a visual of like garden steps on to do certain things, but you're going to get a lot more information on a blog post or a video. So just keep that in mind. Okay. So then from there, I talked about creating pins. We're basically amplifying that content, by the way. And then number 7 is add to the blog post at the bottom of the post always, and make sure that there's a plugin on your website that will allow you to either hover over the image and you'll see a pin icon or a little logo, or you just have a share feature on the side that has Pinterest as an option. And now here's an important tip. We learned this the hard way. If your image is not the right size for Pinterest, it will not come up as a pinnable image when you hover over or you go to a shared button on your website. It won't show up because Pinterest needs a certain size in order to display properly. So just really important that you get down the right dimensions. And I don't have them off the top of my head. We have them in a template that we use, but there is a certain template. You can probably Google that as well. And then from there, the last thing is to add to your Pinterest boards. Okay. So if you have a blog post, you may create one pin for your website and then also pin it inside of Pinterest, but you're going to create also maybe 2 more pins that are about the same blog post, just looking differently. And then from there, you're going to pin them either on a couple of different boards or maybe on the same board, but you want multiple pins because it's multiple ways to get people's attention. All right. So that's basically what you do. And then the routine is add other people's pins, add your own, and then create 2 to 3 unique pins per post. And that's it. Like that's what you're going to be doing. Now, it sounds simple. It kind of is, but you do need to follow a certain protocol or a process. And part of that is doing good keyword research, doing good tagging. Hashtagging is a big thing in Pinterest, right? And then also by you having traffic to your website is also going to allow you to have people that see that pinnable image and pin it organically over to Pinterest that weren't necessarily found from Pinterest. So there's a lot of that stuff that goes on as we're doing this strategy. So, okay, that's it in a nutshell, by the way, guys. So questions, I know we're going to have questions, but also let me just do this real quick. If you guys are listening to me and you're like, Scott, I've got a website or I've got a place that I want to drive traffic, I would love to go through this workshop. Here's how you would do it. brandcreators.com/workshop. It's going to be opening enrollment this Wednesday, May 27th at 9 a.m. Eastern time. And we're going to be keeping that enrollment open until Sunday. And then on Monday, June 1st, is going to be our kickoff call for this live training. So class starts June 1st. Some people have asked, Scott, what if I can't be there live? You don't have to be. It's just when we're starting the training, and then we're going to be giving out the training for that week, and then we're going to be doing a live Q&A call at the end of the week. If you can't make that call, it's okay. Submit your questions, and then from there, we will answer them on the Q&A call. We're also going to do reviews of other people's accounts. We already have one right now that we know we're going to be doing, which is going to be a great review that we're going to be doing. And we're going to be sharing that inside of this training. So if you're interested, brandcreators.com/workshop, only though if you have a website or a place that you want to drive traffic to. All right. So just make sure that we're clear on that. All right. Let's see here. We are going to have some questions. I know that. Okay. Here we go. All right. Okay, Ashley says, heard about this coffee talk from my mom. Yes, Cindy. Yes. And I appreciate that. And tell your mom I said thanks. And she should join us. Jennifer, working on my second day of my weekly schedule. Thanks for your session on productivity this weekend. Awesome. I'm so glad that you're doing that. And guys, if you are watching this or listening to this, right over here on YouTube, I'm going to put a little playlist here to our past coffee talks. You probably want to go back there and check out some that might help you where you are right now. I'm a big believer on not overwhelming you and only selecting what you need right now. Productivity is a big deal because we only have a certain amount of time, and overwhelm and stress and all of that stuff comes into play when we don't have a good plan and a strategy moving forward. So I'm big on planning out your week. We went over that in a coffee talk this weekend. Go check it out if you missed it. Let's see. Jennifer. Oh, cool. Kate. Okay. So Jennifer, okay, was invited by Kate. Thank you, Kate. And thank you, Jennifer, for being here. All right, Nigel. All right. I'd started a training program on starting an Amazon business, which cost $4,000. Then I found Scott's podcast and then his new BCA training, which made more sense and definitely resonated with me as much a better approach. I have since ignored the Amazon training program to concentrate on BCA training. Some might see this as a waste of money, but I don't see it, as it led me to superior, better training with Scott. Thank you, Scott. Wow, Nigel, that's pretty nice of you to say all that. So I appreciate that. And that it makes me feel good. So I appreciate that you are finding value in what we're doing. And I truly do want to help you guys. Okay, Tristan, is it best to use stock photos or your own photos on the pin? If you can use your own, it's always best. But if you have to use a stock image, that's okay as well. Now, will a non-stock image do better? Probably. Here's why. If you start to see other people using similar stock photos, it's going to then be like it was already seen. If you have unique pictures, okay, that you shot yourself, you're going to do better because they're your images and no one else is going to be able to use them. Okay. So yes, if you can, do it. If you can't, the next thing is stock images. The other thing is, and we've done this in the brand that we're actually doing this in, we have two brands that we're doing it in, but the one that we share inside of Brand Creators Academy. And by the way, if you're joining the Pinterest workshop here, I'm actually going to be showing for the first time the brand that we're sharing inside of Brand Creators Academy because I need to be able to show you what that looks like and what that account looks like as we're building it. So that's another thing that we're doing, which we're only sharing for people that join this workshop. Just so you can look over our shoulder as we're doing it. But in this brand, we have reached out to our email list, which we built for this brand. And we asked them, we did it on Facebook too. We asked if anybody would submit their pictures for us to use in posts and social and all these things. And people want to share their stuff. And so they're like, yeah, use my images. And so as long as you are upfront with what you're going to use them for, you get consent to use them, you can actually have your market submit pictures for you and just have them submitted on Facebook. People love sharing, depending, what market you're in, but people love sharing that. If you're in the guitar market, you might be like, hey, share your guitar and I might feature it on my blog. And then someone's sitting there playing their guitar. You get a picture of someone playing their guitar. There you go, right? So people love sharing their stuff. Derek, I think Atlanta, Georgia in the house. I don't see Derek because I don't think he's on his normal platform. He's on Facebook today. Okay, let's see here. So we want to separate a brand for each brand and bring in other pin related to your brand. I'm not sure I understand that question. So you want separate brands for each brand. Yes, you do want separate brands because you want it to be very, very focused on that. You wouldn't want to do a fishing one and a guitar one underneath the same account. Just wouldn't make sense. You want it to be, now if you had a fishing Pinterest account, then you could do bass fishing, you could do deep sea fishing, you could do, striper bass fish or bass striper fishing. You can tell how much I know about fishing, right, guys? Even though I talk about it all the time. You can talk about, what did I say? Did I say ice fishing? Any of that stuff. So you can do that underneath that main account. That makes sense, but you wouldn't want to do like guitar stuff It just wouldn't make sense. Is this like syndication and backlinks back to your website? Now, I thought that my whole thing was, you know what? If all I do is get a backlink from Pinterest pointing over to my content, that's probably good enough. But I mean, the whole thing is you probably can imagine Google knows that people are doing that just for a backlink. So number one, it's not going to really get the benefit as an organic, an organically created backlink. So I would never do it for just that purpose, right? The benefits of it is you do have a live link that resides on Pinterest that does go to your website. And right now we've gotten over 4,000 people to come over. Actually, I wanted to do that too. I'm gonna see if I can't pull this up on the fly because I want to be able to share with you guys some numbers. So okay, so this is what we're looking at. So, and we're up from last month already. We're up 194% impressions, 196% on saves, and we're up 164% on link clicks. Okay. So we've had 456,000 impressions. Okay. That sounds impressive, but I want to know, what are the link clicks, right? Who actually came over to our website? Well, link clicks doesn't necessarily mean it's just website clicks, but here it says there's been 6,300 link clicks, okay? And we've had 393,000 monthly viewers. Now, we only have 154 followers that follow our account. We don't care, right? Because you're not getting your reach from the followers, you're getting it from search inside and suggested pins once you start searching for something. So it's a lot like Google. And the cool thing is it's evergreen. When you create an asset inside of Pinterest, it's going to live on. It's going to be there. Not like Instagram. You put up an Instagram video, no one's searching for it. It's disruptive basically in their feed, right? It's disruptive marketing, as we call it. It's a way to get their attention, but then they got to do something. They got to actually go to your link in your bio to click. Here they don't, right? And Instagram isn't a search engine, okay? Facebook isn't a search engine. It's a place to go there and see what people have posted in your feed. That's it, right? And yes, you can belong to groups. If you're watching this on Facebook, you're probably in one of our groups or you're probably on the page, but it's not the same because you're not searching, right? You're there, entertainment or information as far as like this, you're showing up, but you didn't search for this, right? Now, if you're on YouTube and you're watching this 3 months from now, you might have searched for something and then found this through that search, right? So that's the benefits of YouTube. YouTube is also a great resource, but I've found right now, Pinterest has by far been the easiest and the most consistent so far. Again, the verdict is still out, but we're about 2 months in on this strategy and it's working. Okay. So the reason why I'm sharing that with you, the link clicks, it's really important that you understand that. The other thing is you can start to see what resonates and then you can create more of that. Right. So this is just one of our accounts, but I just wanted to kind of share that with you. And I'm going to pull up the deeper analytics here. So if I can go here to, let's see here, link clicks, we're going to go to that. And this is the past 28 days. Yeah. So past 30 days. And like I had said, the engagement has been 21,000. A total audience is 379,000. And engaged audience is 13,000. Okay. It's up 135% from the last 29 days. So it's just crazy. And let me just go here. I'm going to go for the past 7 days. Let's see here. Let's see what that gives us. So the last 7 days, we're still way up. Impressions up 57%, 66,000 impressions. Total audience, 56,000. Engagement, 3,000. Engaged audience, 1,840, up 66%, right? And link clicks. In the past 7 days, we've had 929 people that have clicked to go over to our website, okay? It's just in a week. Right? So really, really good stuff. Let me go back here and see if you guys have any questions. I'm off that screen. All right, here we go. Let's see. Okay, what plugin do you need for WordPress to make your pins clickable? Okay, so there's one, I don't know the name off the top of my head. It's more of like a hovering pin. I could probably follow up with that on another coffee talk. We can go into a little bit more of the details. The one that we're using is Social Pug, which is basically a share button suite. So we use Pinterest, Facebook. What's the other one we're using? I think we're using maybe Twitter as well, because they're the most common ones. Kate, a coffee talk about hashtags. I know what they are, but I don't really know what the strategy is behind them. Yeah, I mean, the strategy is find some that are popular. And then from there, you're adding those in so you're more discoverable. So, are hashtags an important piece? Yes, but they're not everything. So I think it's just whatever makes the most sense. Now, we do a full training on that inside of the academy, and also in this workshop we'll be doing that, because there's you got to go through and start doing that research. And you don't want to put too many in, but you also want to put enough in so you're taking advantage of that pin. Let's see. Iva, Scott, should I do the workshop or just go through the Pinterest? No, Iva, and anyone else that's on here that's in BCA. No, you don't do anything different. We're going to be adding any new training inside of BCA. It's always there. So you can start going through that now if you want to, or you can wait till June 1st, Iva, but you can just start going through that now. And then from there, anything that we're adding in there, we're going to do a whole suite of templates that we're going to be giving as downloads. Everyone in BCA is going to get those. And then also any of the additional training that we're putting out is going in there. And then any of the live Q&A that we're doing outside of BCA, those are recorded and then put into BCA as well. And then from there, moving forward, people that go through the workshop, we give them those 2 weeks of live Q&As inside of BCA. As you know, we do our bi-weekly call. One of those calls will most likely be around Pinterest. So anyway, I'll just throw that out there. But thanks for asking that, Iva. Yeah, you're all good. Chris, do we need a blog post to pin or Pinterest? Or on Pinterest? All I have is e-commerce. My products are very visual, do print on demand niche. Okay. So in your case, you would be driving people to your store then, right? So if you say all is e-commerce, but do you have a store? Do you have a store that's showing your products? Because if you do, you could do pins around those topics, and then you could be linking over to your store. So that totally can work. You do want to be able to track that though. So if you do have a store, I'd want you to have analytics installed so you can see actually the traffic that's coming in. But I would recommend there's probably an angle for you to start creating some content that's not just selling your product. Helene, hey Scott, should I use the Pinterest pins I created on Canva and then upload to Pinterest directly on my website as well? Right now I simply have regular images on my post, not the pins. Yes, I would create an extra pinnable image that is at the footer. But also, yes, if you're using Canva, which I recommend, we're going to have templates built in Canva. Create them in Canva and then download those to your computer. And then from there, you're going to upload those to your website and also upload those to Pinterest directly. But yeah, that's what you would do there. Let's see here. All right. How is your method different to your daughter's method? Well, the thing is my strategy was this. It was very simple. And I was kind of thinking along the lines of, I forget who said it, about more or less a backlink in a sense, where I was like, you know what? I'm not going to spend a lot of time here on Pinterest. I'm just not going to spend a lot of time. It's not worth my energy. I was kind of playing that role, which wasn't good, but I was just like, I don't want to focus on that. I'm just focused on creating content. Right. So the strategy that I had was, just to do something, because something is better than nothing. And I've said that a lot, right? Is I was just creating a pinnable image. Okay. And I was just putting it on our website and then putting it on our board. I wasn't pinning a whole bunch of other people's stuff. I wasn't creating a wealth of resources and knowledge for people that found my account to have, because I didn't want to spend all that time there. Although it doesn't take all that much time. You got to basically just build it, which isn't that hard, and then start backfilling it in a sense with this great information. And a lot of that then will start to become yours. So mine was, I'm just going to go ahead and create a pin, put it on my blog post, and put a link that's pointing over to Pinterest and have people pin it. And then I'll set up my account and I'll make a couple of boards and I'll just add my stuff to it. Done. Like that was it. And the results weren't that great, right? So that was my strategy, which wasn't a good one. Tristan, should you use words on your main photos like Bass Fishing Lures 2020 and put that type on the Pinterest photo to get people attention? Yes. Yes. You want to do that. You definitely want to do that. You want to add what it is, right? And, that way they're drawn into it, right? And you want to play with colors and you want to play with design and so all of that stuff. So there's a lot of different things you can do, but the biggest thing is just do something, right? Something is better than nothing. We had one pin that I had created by my father, who actually runs two of our brands, the content side of things. He does all the optimization and stuff. And so I had him creating the pins and they weren't that great. He knows he's not a designer. I know he's not a designer, but it was better than nothing. And he created that pin probably, I don't know, it's probably around 3 months ago. And so because that pin was on our account now that started to get more attention and started to get more traffic, that pin actually took off. So that was the one pin that actually started to get a lot of traction, and it was ugly. It wasn't great. But it said exactly that. It was giving people exactly what they needed. Best Bass Fishing Lures 2020. That it was like that, right? But it wasn't pretty looking. And actually, I'll be sharing that inside of this workshop, by the way. I'll show you what that looked like. My daughter cringed when she seen that because it's not up to her standards as far as looking pretty. But sometimes you got to test ugly versus pretty. I mean, sometimes it wins, sometimes it doesn't. So it's always a test. Kate, when you read your stats, what software app are you using to do that? Well, the ones I was just reading, that's in my Pinterest account. They give you all the analytics. That's why you want a business account. And then in the Google Analytics, that's where I see all of the data that came from Pinterest. It'll show you in the acquisition part of your Google Analytics, it'll show you the Pinterest, or it'll show you the different social platforms or the different platforms that's driving traffic, not just organic traffic from Google. So that's how we can determine that. So if Pinterest says that I got 6,000 link clicks, I'll be like, okay, cool. But I want proof that they actually came to my website. You look on your website and then you'll see inside Google Analytics, you'll see that the traffic actually came from there and how much. And that's where I came up with the 4,343 actual visitors, unique visitors. Now, the other thing is those people also counted as page views. So when they come in, they might have looked at 2 or 3 different pages. That bumps up my page view count. What does that do? It brings in money. We're starting to monetize the one brand right now, the brand that I'm using as this case study as well. We're just turning on Ezoic this month, so we'll see how that goes. But every time you get people to come there, they have a great chance of then seeing the website and going through the website, and that counts as page views. You get paid on page views when you're running ad networks, which is pretty cool. How often are you planning to offer Pinterest workshop? Right now, we're just going to do this one as a test. We're actually going to test this because we are only doing trainings inside of Brand Creators Academy up till this point. The reason why I'm doing this little spin-off is because, number one, we're not opening Brand Creators Academy for another couple of months, right? Yeah, a couple months. So in the meantime, I want this strategy to be able to be used. And I also want people to be going through it so they can, they can give us some feedback outside of just Brand Creators Academy. It also allows me to create some training inside of the Academy for our members. So I'm kind of getting, benefits on both sides of it. And I want to see if people are wanting this type of stuff, like these little spinoffs. We've got thoughts of maybe doing a full email list building training, but they're shorter trainings that I say shorter. They're like a 2-week training. And the result is exactly what it is, right? Like in this case, Pinterest, we want you to get things set up and it be live by the time we're done with the training. So that way you're ready to start getting traffic. And in our doing this, our results, we've seen results within 30 to 45 days. Now that doesn't mean it's guaranteed at all, but there's a good chance that you'll start getting some momentum. You just got to follow that process and the procedure. Derek, there you go. Is there a favorite resource within Pinterest? I'm not sure what you mean, a favorite resource. within Pinterest. No, I don't know. I'm not sure I know what you mean. Do you have content on your site that they can read only if they pay? You mean if you are doing a Pinterest type pin? You could do that. I don't know that I would, but you could. I think you always want to lead with value, right? Like right now, I'm giving you guys value. I'm giving you the 10,000 foot view of this strategy. And some of you are probably going to jump in and do the live training with us, right? You know, so I think you got to lead with value. Don't put it behind a paid wall. You know, you got to give away as much as you can within a short period of time. That's just always been my best practices. Are you driving traffic to Amazon or Shopify to sell your product? Well, it's funny that you say that. In this brand right here that we're talking about specifically, we don't have physical products on Amazon or Shopify, but we do in another brand that I'm partnered with that I talk a lot about as the new brand. It's about 3 years old now, and we're actually in the process of selling it. But my business partner actually started running Pinterest ads not that long ago and has been seeing some really, really good results. So there could be something coming down the line as far as the paid side. But right now we're just talking about organic free traffic from Pinterest. But yeah, there is opportunities there for that as well. All right, cool. So if there's any more quick questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. If not, we should probably wrap this up. This has been a great call. Also, I did want to remind you that number one, we are doing this as far as the live and the recorded training. So it's a hybrid, we're calling it, for this Pinterest pop-up training, this workshop. You can go to brandcreators.com/workshop, and you're going to be looking over my daughter's shoulder and my shoulder as we're going through this process. She is going to be the lead trainer in this. I will be there to add, what I know and kind of like me distilling and breaking down this strategy, but also helping you field these questions and really able to make sure that you can take action with this, if and when you decide to join us during this workshop. So if you're interested, head on over to brandcreators.com/workshop. Enrollment is going to open this Wednesday, okay, May 27th at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Why is it important that you join the minute we open? Here's why. We're going to give a $50 off discount to anyone that joins within when we open, when we first open, for enrollment, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to keep it open until that Sunday, okay? So this coming Sunday. After that, we're going to close down enrollment, and then we're going to start the class promptly on June 1st. We're going to do a kickoff call with myself and my daughter going over like what is expected and what the plan is moving forward. And then that week will be all about setup. It'll be all about the preparation and getting things set up. So the following week, we're going to be taking action and implementing all of the different things. So this way here, we can build out our foundation for Pinterest, but then also leverage our own assets and start to connect the dots. And by the end of that week, we're going to do another live Q&A and a review of other people's Pinterest accounts. And then from there, you're going to be ready and armed with your strategy moving forward for your business and your brand. So that's pretty much what we're going to be doing. But that's why, if you're interested, you want to be ready on Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern time. We're going to give some fast action takers those discounts that we talked about for the enrollment. All right. So if you're interested, head there. If you have any questions, let me know. Be more than happy to answer them for you. And hopefully I'll see you inside the workshop. Only if you have a website or you have a place to drive people. If you don't, it's not for you right now. All right. So I just want to throw that out there. All right. So guys, if you have any other questions, let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Tomorrow, we will be doing another coffee talk. If you have any suggestions for more coffee talks, let me know. If you want to do more on the Pinterest side of things, let me know. We'll do them. That's what these coffee talks are all about. They're all about what you need. And I'm going to hopefully be here to help you move forward in your brand. All right. So guys, that's it. That's going to wrap it up. Have an awesome, amazing day. As always, take care, take action, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Oh.